Shido would make his way inside of the DEM headquarters as the raid would begin. On the outside, Mana and Kurumi would deal with the army of Bandersnatch, Mana keeping herself occupied dealing with Jessica Bailey, one of the head wizards of DEM. For Shido, while making his way through the base, fighting off against the various soldiers that came to stop him, their powers of creating force fields and holding someone within a superpowered prism of sorts was not something that Shido could easily overcome, even with his immense speed. Also, there was something off. He felt himself as if he were losing speed the more he progressed through the building. He didn't know if he was just hitting his limit or if he were exhausted or anything of the like. Chaos was ensuing on all fronts, Fraxinus hovering just above, providing outside assistance, while the endless horde of Bandersnatch machines and soldiers were attacking from all sides. For Shido, he found himself being pushed against the wall at one point by almost 30 soldiers, each one creating their own force field to hold him in place. For Shido, he tried his best to vibrate through it, but there was no use. His molecules wouldn't be able to pass through this force field. Out of desperation, Shido would tap into the spirit power that was sealed within him, and thus would summon Toka's sword, Sandafal, using it to cut through the barriers and, in combination with his speed, take down the soldiers that were before him. Although few had managed to get in a few good shots, shooting him in the back, and one even going as far as to stab him in the side. Shido's body was able to heal and recover, but still, it was all starting to take its toll on him. Meanwhile, on the outside, both Mana and Kurumi were fighting for their lives. Kurumi more or less was having fun dealing with the Bandersnatch, destroying all of them at whim, while Mana would have to deal not only with Jessica, but with Ellen also. Even for her best efforts in the 2-on-1 fight, she found herself being outmatched, both Jessica and Ellen respectively having the latest of DEM equipment, having them fully utilize their magical abilities and capabilities. They were more than able to hold their own against even someone of the elite like Mana. For Mana, she didn't know how long she could hold out, but help often comes in the most unlikeliest of sources. Aboard Fraxinus, a young boy who had his own equipment was setting off to join the battle, the doctor seeing him off before he went into combat. Can't believe I'm finally getting deployed. Looks like we're about to have a little old reunion, eh, doctor? Stay focused. Remember, we're trying to save Toka and get out of here as soon as possible. You don't want your powers going out of control like last time. Heck, don't worry. I've had 6 months to practice. Nothing to worry about. Let's do this. The boy slid on his goggles before jumping off of Fraxinus itself, flying into the air and coming rocketing towards the battlefield. Just as Mana felt like she wasn't going to be able to hold out much longer, she heard something through the intercoms. Hey there, Mana. You missed me? What the? Cisco? Is that you? Immediately, a young boy who was also outfitted with the latest equipment would come shooting in multiple sonic energy attacks at both Jessica and Ellen, respectively. Mana was surprised to see that Cisco Ramon, of all people, had actually showed up. What the hell are you doing here? Well, it looked like you were in a bind, so I figured I'd come by and give you some support. Mana would fly over to him immediately, Cisco thinking that he was finally going to be getting all the love and admiration that he had long since desired, only to get a slap in the face. Ow! That was for 2 years ago, you idiot! I thought you died! No, I didn't. I was just recovering. You had a funeral. I cried at your funeral. Aw, sounds like you did miss. Oh! We'll discuss this later. Come on! I missed you too. Whatever. In the meantime, Shido continued fighting through the base of DEM, fighting wave after wave of Bandersnatch and Soldier alike. Just when it seemed like he was about to get pinned down once more, he would get help from the most unlikeliest of sources, that being in the form of Miku. Although, make no mistake about it, she wasn't here to help Shido. She had only come by because she wanted Toka for herself, another spirit to add to her collection. And he just happened to be there. But there was also something else. She wanted to see if Shido was really what he said he was. Or was he simply all talk, like everyone else in her life? Shido would thank Miku for the assist, but she made it very clear that this was no partnership. She hadn't come to help him or to be his sidekick, and she wasn't going to have her powers sealed, that's for damn sure. No. She only came here for Toka. He was just a tag-along. Nothing more, nothing less. All the same, Shido was grateful for the assistance. The two of them making their way through the headquarters together, although begrudgingly. It was as if they spent more time arguing with one another than they did fighting against the enemy. If you didn't know any better, you'd think they were some old married couple writing the end of a marriage. You know, you could smile just a little bit. And why? What reason do I have to smile? I'm dragging around a maggot, a loosely annoying maggot that doesn't know its place. You know, you keep acting that way, you're never going to make any real friends. And who says I want to make real friends? You obviously need some. You don't know what I need. I know what you don't need. Holding on to that attitude and grudge. It's not going to get you anywhere in life, Miku. You don't know anything about me. I know enough. I know enough to know that you put up this act, this front in front of everyone. Duck! Miku would move out of the way as Shido would use another slash of Sandaphon, the blade creating a gust of energy just strong enough to knock the soldiers out of the window. I didn't need your help. Get down! Shido would duck immediately as Miku would use her own powerful voice to shoot off another sound wave and destroy a horde of enemies behind them. The two would stand back to back, fighting off the various soldiers that came up to try to stop them at each floor, all the while arguing at the same time. At one point, the soldiers became entirely confused because if they didn't know any better, they thought that Shido boy and that Miku girl were fighting one another. Although every time they tried to get involved, the two of them would stop what they were doing to kick the ass of anyone that interfered. This continued floor after floor after floor and after floor, until finally they had reached a point where Miku had had enough. If you're just going to annoy me at each level we go to, then you can go home. I don't need your help. I'm trying to save Toka, and for that, I'm not going to stop. Oh please, you're putting on an act. You've been getting your ass kicked at each level we go to. You're running on fumes at this point, Mr. Fastest Man Alive. I'm more than fast enough to beat you. Are you trying to fight me? No, I'm just trying to get you to see reason. I mean, Miku, come on. At this point, you're no different than any one of us. You used to be a human. So what changed? What made you hate humans so much? You already know the answer to that. You know about my past. Everything about me. About who I used to be before I became a spirit. So why even ask me something so stupid? Because I don't understand. Why would you let what happened in your past affect you so much? I mean, your brother, he was only a stepbrother from another marriage of my father. After both our parents died, we were all each other had. It wasn't hard for me to see that he thought of me as nothing more but a burden. The only reason he even stayed was out of some obligation, because his mother wished for us to get along. Well, didn't you? No, we were nothing alike. He despised me so much, my father, because he believed that his mother was trying to replace his own father, even though that was hardly the case. I tried to get along with him. I tried to seek reason with him. I tried to be a good sister for the sake of the family, and it got me nowhere. But then I discovered my talents for singing, for music, something I truly loved. And at first, I thought he was supportive of me. I thought we had finally found common ground, a way for us to bond. But no, he saw me as nothing but a means to an end. As my career took off, so too did him lining his pockets. Truthfully, I didn't even care for the money. I just enjoyed doing what I loved, and I thought the people loved me too. But after that ridiculous scandal came out, he left me in the wind, took everything he could, and he left me alone. From that day forth, I knew I couldn't depend on anyone but myself. I couldn't trust anyone but myself. I was all alone, and there was no one to help me back then. So why should I believe that there's anyone that's going to help me now? I don't. And I will never allow myself to be that vulnerable. I won't allow myself to be used. I won't allow someone to take away my passion. That's why I will always be the one in control. I will control what people think of me. I will control how they see me. I am in control. I won't allow my life to spiral down once again because I put my faith in someone who's going to fail me. So there. Are you happy now? You have the truth. Why I hate humans. And why I hate men especially. You want me to put my faith in the likes of you. Why should I do that? Shido wasn't sure what to say in that moment. If truly that was everything she had gone through in her life, then what could he possibly do? Miku looked like she was on the verge of tears, but he walked closer to her. Thankfully, he always carried a handkerchief on his suit. He handed it to her. As she looked up to him, he turned away quickly. I'm really sorry about that. I can't make up for what others have done to you. It's something even I can't fix. And you're right. There might be those who may never accept you. But, and I mean when I say this, I will listen to you. I heard your music from before. It was good. It was you. You didn't have to control me or try to manipulate me to like it. Your voice is extraordinary. I only wish that you could see what I see. See what? What am I supposed to see? That you are already amazing. You were amazing before you became a spirit and even after. And you shouldn't let what others say or what they do take away your passion, your desire, your dreams. You have every right to see them come true. And you should know that you'll always have support. I will support you with everything I have. You really mean that, don't you? You should already know. As the two made their way, there was someone else who was making moves of their own. Deep underground, where the private cells were kept for various test subjects, a young man sat alone. He looked up as he saw the door was getting ready to be opened. He could hear the commotion going on from above. He could only imagine what sort of hell had been unleashed. If you're looking to try to poke and prod at my body some more, you might as well kill me. While that is tempting, I believe your talents can be best suited elsewhere, Kurumi would say, as the cell door would open. Oh, you'll be needing this. She dropped a specially made gun at his feet. So, I take it this is my rescue party or something along those lines? Oh no, I'm doing this because I think there is some use for a guy like you. And you can't do anything cooped up in a cell now, can you? Not when your precious little sister is fighting for her life. Yoshino? She's here? Where is she? Oh, she's just outside. A lot of bandersnatch in all the vicinity. So, I'd say if you want to help, you definitely need to make your way up to the top floor of this building now, don't you? The young man would pick up the gun as he looked back towards Kurumi. I don't trust you. I hope you know that. I get that a lot. But I'm not doing any of this for you. It's for my darling Shido. He's who I truly desire. And I figured this is my way of paying him back. Especially for what I'm going to need of him later. Before he had a chance to respond, the girl disappeared into the shadows. And with that, the young man would make his way through the floors. Just hold on. I'm coming, Yoshino. Before long, both Miku and Shido would arrive to the top floor. As the doors would be burst down, Shido would race through first to find Toka strapped to a chair. And standing next to her, a man with white hair dressed in an all-black suit. Ah, you finally arrived. Scarlet Speedster. The man would look at his watch. You know, for someone with all that speed, you sure took your sweet time getting here. I mean, I would have pictured you to get here at least 5 minutes ago. Well, what can I say? You left hell of a welcoming party. Oh, did I? Where are my manners? I should introduce myself. I'm Isaac Westcott, DEM leader. Nice to meet you. Let her go. Oh, you're talking about Princess. Her name's Toka. Toka. Right. Well, you see, I can't really... Before he had a chance to finish, Shido had the sword, Sandaphon, pointed directly at his throat. I said let her go now, you bastard! And if I don't, what are you gonna do about it? You're a lot of things, Shido Itsuka. A killer's just not one of them. You don't have it in you. If so, you would have done it a long time ago. You wouldn't have wasted time with a threat. And that's the difference between you and I. Oh yeah? And what's that? Simple. When I need to pull out a sword, I don't hesitate to use it. Shido would barely be able to duck, as Ellen would swing her blade directly at him. Shido would respond by countering with his own sword. However, Ellen would quickly kick out a blade hidden in her boot, stabbing him in the leg, before stabbing him in the arm. Shido fell to one knee instantly. Toka yelled out to Shido, but a wall was made within the room between them. Miku would attempt to help, but she too would be cut off by a third walling in the room. The two spirit girls on either side watching Shido in the middle fight for his life. Have you ever heard of death by 1,000 cuts, Shido? It's excruciating. You know, the first cut, it's painful, but it's nothing too severe. But then there's the second cut. Ellen would cut Shido again. Shido tried to use his speed to evade her, but he felt like he was losing it with each step he took. Not able to move as fast? Oh, that's the barrier that I have built within this room. It cuts off anyone using spirit power. I had a hunch that your speed was connected to the spirits, so I used this dampener to test my theory. And what do you know? It's proven correct. Multiple cuts would begin to appear on Shido as Ellen took her time dissecting him bit by bit. Now the shock is starting to set in, isn't it? Shido took a swing of his blade. He managed to counter Ellen once more. However, she blocked him again before slashing him in the back. Miku and Toka were horrified at what they were seeing. Toka was even freed from her chair as she yelled out for Shido, begging for the wall to be let down. Shido would be cut again and again and again. It was grisly. Even for Miku, she found it hard to watch. She even attempted to use her power, but there was no way of breaking through. Shido stood wobbling on his legs. He was face to the wall where Westcott and Toka were. As Shido held out his hand to the glass, Toka held out hers as well. Their hands pressed against one another with only the glass wall between them. Toka. With a final thrust, Ellen would deliver the killing blow to Shido's chest. Her blade stained with his blood as he slid to the ground. Shido, wake up! Shido, Shido! In an instant, the room would be bathed in darkness. For Isaac, this was what he wanted. He had finally gotten her to awaken. He had gotten the spirit known as Princess to inverse. As Ellen moved over to her master, she couldn't help but be a bit disturbed by the amount of glee he had. He was always a hard person to gauge. She never quite knew if he was upset or if he were calm, but now he was completely ecstatic. Is this a part of your plan, Master? Oh, yes. Yes, indeed, Ellen. This is exactly what I wanted. Now, the Demon King has awakened. For Kotori and the others at Fraxinus, they too were horrified. Shido's vitals had dropped to 0. And that only meant one thing. And what was worse, the spatial quake alarms were now going off. These alarms were a code black, the absolute worst of circumstances. What the hell's going on? Kotori would say. Shido, answer me. Shido, For Dr. Wells, he feared that this was the worst outcome. As he sighed under his glasses, thinking only in his mind. Come on, Shido. Wake up. It's not supposed to end like this. You're not supposed to die. Not yet. Everyone fighting on the outside watched from the main building of DEM as the top floor was enveloped in darkness, and what emerged was the inverse Toka. Her blade sandalfall in hand, the life drained from her eyes, replaced with only a look of cold and malice. Her heart had been stained black, and now she would make this world feel her pain. She would wipe it all away, everything, because she had truly lost all that she cared for. Miku, in the meantime, had managed to break free. She rushed over to Shido's side, watching him cut up and laid on the ground. Even she couldn't hold back the tears anymore, her gloves being stained with his own blood. It was at that moment someone else would come walking in the room. A young man with a buzzed haircut, in a blue jumpsuit, looking like a prisoner who had escaped Alcatraz of all places, holding a gun in hand. "Step aside. I'll take care of this." "What are you going to—" "I said move it, or else he dies." Miku would step away as the boy would shoot the gun, Shido's body being encased in ice. That should slow down the bleeding, long enough for him to try to heal himself. "What?" "I don't know if it'll work or not. Whether or not he survives, it's up to him." Who are you?" "Just call me Leo." Leonard Snart. As he walked over to the boy encased in ice, he looked down at him. "If you're going to make a comeback, hero, now's the time. You can probably barely hear me right now, but your little girlfriend's going on a rampage. So, if you've got any strength left in that body of yours, then don't you dare die here and now. You better wake up and deal with that, or else we're all screwed. You hear me? Shido Itsuka!" Within the recesses of his own mind, Shido found himself on another plane. Is this the afterlife? Am I dead? No, you're not dead, Shido. Not yet, at least. Who's saying that? Who are you? I don't know much about you, Shido, but from what I've seen, you've definitely got heart. It's not over. You can come back from this. But how? How can I? We don't have much time. So, here. Shido felt something in his chest. It was like someone was massaging his heart. How are you? This is the Speed Force, my friend. It's a place outside of your world, of all worlds. A place where a speedster draws his power. Up until now, you've only just been tapping into it. It's good to take things slow. You try to tap into it all at once, you might just burn yourself out of existence. You could say that right now, the Speed Force is working overtime. Overtime to keep you alive. You keep thinking that you don't have enough power. But I promise you, Shido, the power is within you. It always has been. You just have to be able to bring it to the surface. Instead of focusing on multiple things, focus on one thing, one objective. Once you do, everything will become clear. Focus on the one thing you want to achieve, and then head straight towards it. Have that conviction in your heart. Don't stop for even a second. And I promise you will achieve victory. Now go forth, Shido Itsuka. The ice would break away, and once more Shido would stand as he looked towards the sky, looking where Toka was hovering above everyone else. Glad to see you're back in the world of the living, Shido. Almost had us worried there for a moment. Huh? Leo! Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Right now, you need to deal with her. Right. Don't worry, Toka. I'm coming. Miku, can you give me an assist? Sure, anything you need. Alright, guys. Let's end this. Now. This concludes Data Live Flash in Time. What if Shido was the Flash? Season 2, Part 4. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video as we conclude Data Live Flash in Time, What if Shido was the Flash? Season 2, Part 5, the Season 2 finale. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings, signing off, and I'll see you next time.